Hi everyone, and welcome to part 4 of building an Outlook-inspired app. In this 7-part series, Infragistics product manager Brian Lagunas shows you how to build an application that looks just like Microsoft Outlook. In this video, we're going to create custom region adapters for the XAMRibbon and the XAMOutlookBar controls. Let's get started.
In part 3, we ended the video by finishing our module catalog and returning it from the create module catalog method. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to run this application, and the expectation is that, hey, we should have a view get injected into that Outlook bar region, right? Well, let's run this and see what happens. Oh man, we have an exception. What's going on here? Well, it's saying it's having a problem with a ribbon tab region. Ribbon tab region. You know what? I know what that is. If we go to our shell, you remember those regions we created? Well, Prism only provides a handful of region adapters out of the box for you. One of those would be content control, items control, things like that. Prism doesn't provide us with region adapters for the XAMRibbon or Outlook bar. So we're going to go ahead and create a custom region adapter for our XAMRibbon and for our Outlook bar. So let's start with the Outlook bar. Let's go into our infrastructure class, Silverlight. We'll go ahead and right click on the Prism folder, and we're going to add a new class. I'm going to call this the XAMOutlookBar region adapter. Now this class needs to derive from region adapter base of T. T being the control which we're going to adapt. In this case, the XAMOutlookBar. Add our using statement there. Now we need to add the references for the XAMOutlookBar control. So let's go ahead and add a reference. It's a .NET reference to the Infragistics.Silverlight5 menus.outlookbar. And we know we're going to do in a ribbon, so we might as well grab the ribbon. And then we need the shared library there. Go ahead, add our using statement. Now we'll implement our abstract methods here. We have an adapt and a create region. Create region basically says, what kind of region is this? Is this a single region that will only contain one view, like a content control? Or is this going to have multiple views in it? In our case, the Outlook bar is going to have multiple views in it, multiple groups. So we're going to return a new all active region. Now the next thing to do is to handle the adapt. This is the code that's going to take our region target, and we're going to start adapting the control to accept these views. So we're simply going to say region.activeViews.collection changed. Now we're going to do a little switch statement here. You can do an if you want. Switch just works fine. You say if the switch action case, if we're adding, then for each Outlook bar group in new items, region target dot groups dot add group. Right, so basically whenever a new view is being added, we're going to loop through all the new items, and we're going to add that group to the region target, which is our XAMOutlookBar groups collection. Pretty simple. Same thing for removing. So we'll case, remove. Now we'll simply say for each, for each group and the new items, we're going to take the region target, groups collection, and you guessed it, instead of adding, we're going to remove the group. And it looks like I forgot my break up here. Looking at this, I see I need parentheses here. Next thing we need to do is we need to create a constructor. Now this constructor takes an I region behavior factory, and you need to pass it to the base class like so. So if I build this, make sure I don't have any compilation errors. Next thing we want to do is go to our WPF project. And you guessed it, we're going to add, make sure we're in Silverlight, Infrastructure, Prism. I'm going to add a link to the region adapter we just created. Build the WPF version. We didn't add the references to our Infragistics controls for WPF, so let's do that. We need Infragistics.OutlookBar. We're going to go with 12.1. We need the ribbon and our base library. Build our WPF app. So what's happening here is we are trying to use an Outlook bar control that are in different namespaces. So what we have to do is we have to do our little trick with our compiler directive. So we're going to go if Silverlight, we're going to use the using Infragistics controls.menus. Else, we're using Infragistics.windows.OutlookBar. There, now we build. That's because we're sharing the code across multiple platforms. Namespaces are different. So now I'll open this up in WPF and I see that my using is correct. So we're not quite done yet. Now we have to let Prism know about our new custom region adapters. In order to do this, we need to go into our bootstrapper in the shell project. Let me make sure I have this open in the Silverlight side. What we want to do now is override a method called configure region adapter mappings. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a region adapter mappings class, call it mappings, and set it to the base method call. Because this is going to give us all the default mappings already created by Prism for us. Now what we want to do is add a mapping for our custom one. So in order to do this, we're going to say mappings.register mapping type of, which is the control type. In this case, it's the XAMOutlookBar. And then the adapter. It's going to be container.resolve. Our XAM Outlook bar region adapter. This is an infrastructure prism. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to go do this for the ribbon as well. Okay, so I went ahead and added a XAMRibbon region adapter for the Infragistics XAMRibbon. It's very similar to the way we did the Outlook bar region. We're just listening for the collection changed action of add, and we're adding the views to the region, and we're removing views from regions. Now I haven't implemented the add or the remove yet, because we're going to be handling the navigation for tab navigation a little different later on in this series. But I just wanted to be able to run and compile, so we just kind of stubbed one out. I modified the bootstrapper to register the mapping for the XAMRibbon to our XAMRibbon region adapter, and I had to make some modifications to our using statements using compiler directives to get it to build. So now what we have is when we run this, so let's go ahead and set this as the startup project. We'll hit F5. So now when I run this, we can see that our mail group from the mail module is being injected into the region on the left hand side. So let me just pull this over to the side here. Let's go ahead and open up the .pf version. We're going to run this, start a new instance. We can see that this module is also being injected. But you notice something, unlike the Silverlight version where the group is already selected for you, this one's not. So let's go fix that. Let's go to our Outlook bar region adapter. I'm going to go to the adapt, and just after we add, I'm going to put some code in here. Basically, the WPF version doesn't automatically select the first group in its collection. So we're just going to check if the first group in the collection equals the current group being added, then go ahead and select it. Okay, so now when we run the WPF version, the mail group will be selected when it's loaded initially. That does it for part 4 in this series. In this video, we saw how to create a custom region adapter for the Infragistics XAMOutlookBar and XAMRibbon controls. In the upcoming videos, we're going to start getting into implementing model view model, MVVM, as well as implementing navigation and injecting ribbon tabs. So I hope to see you in the next videos.